What's up, you guys? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire baseball community in this case, there, guys. Um, just some breaking news that just dropped just about 20 minutes ago. Albert Pujols, via from his wife, announced that 2021, this upcoming season of MLB baseball, will be his very last season in baseball. According to a statement that was written by his wife on Instagram, she said, and quote, "Today is the first day of his last season of one of the most remarkable careers in sports. I'm talking about my husband, who since the time he was a child would eat, sleep, and breathe this sport. I've had the privilege to walk out 23 years of this baseball journey, and it's filled with such a full heart that I speak a blessing over him that as he finishes this good race." So, heading into this year, the 41-year-old Albert Pujols will be entering his 21st season in the majors and his 10th season with the LA Angels. He spent his first 11 years with the St. Louis Cardinals, and that during that time when he was with St. Louis, he was a 9-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, and helped the Cardinals win the World Series back in 2006 and in 2011. As of he stands right now, he's ranked fifth all time in career home runs with 662 0-1s, trailing Alex Rodriguez by 34 home runs for fourth place, and he's third all time in RBIs with 2,100 at RBIs after passing A Rod this last season. Um, During the shortened season, however, he batted 224 with 6 home runs and 25 RBIs in 39 games during the shortened campaign. Now, what made Albert Pujols, a fabulous batter was that he was one of the greatest first basemen and truly one of the most feared hitters of this generation. The thing that I really marveled about Albert Pujols was that this guy was the marvel of consistency. And you look back into his career, he was not supposed to be in the majors. Okay, many there were very few teams in the late '90s that really questioned, Albert Pujols because of his play and his build. And according to one scout from the Tampa Bay Rays, he basically did everything he could to try to get the team to sign Albert Pujols. And basically, he quit his job because the team wouldn't draft him. And so he wasn't drafted until the 13th round of the 1999 MLB draft by the St. Louis Cardinals when they selected him as the 402nd overall pick. And pretty much by that time, the St. Louis Cardinals were entering a transitional phase as Mark McGwire was entering the final stages of his career. And when he basically took over at third base, it was pretty much the rest was history. In his first year with the St. Louis Cardinals, okay, as I put the stats up real quick. Hold on one second. So in his very first season with the St. Louis Cardinals. This was his stat line. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me one quick second. There we go. So his very first season, he basically batted. He basically batted. Um, he basically drove in 37 home. He drove in 37 home runs, 130 RBIs. All right, and about 590 at bats. He basically, you know, batted 329 the entire season and stole 93 bases. Okay, as a first baseman. The next year, he batted 314 with 34 home runs and about 127 RBIs that year. This guy, pretty much throughout his entire career, you can count on for averaging 300 batting average with 30 home runs and 100 plus RBIs. This guy was pretty much the marvel of consistency, and he was very difficult to strike out. You know what I'm saying? The thing what I liked about with Mark McGuire with Albert Pujols was is that he was a very consistent, hitter, but he was very difficult to strike out against because he had a unique ability to basically, shorten his swing, but also shorten the strike zone a bit, which frustrated a lot of batters. His batting stance, honestly, is equivalent to what I saw in watching video highlights of Ricky Henderson back in the day, which is one of the reasons why he was very difficult to strike out against. Okay, um, he basically used a 32.5 ounce bat against right-handers, but then he uses a 33-ounce bat against left-handers to try to make sure to avoid trying to pull the ball when he swings. And he had the absolute ability to pretty much learn what the pitchers are going to throw before the pitchers throw the ball towards the plate, which explains one of the reasons why he rarely struck out a lot of the time. All right, his basically the amount of times that he was caught was basically he struck out pretty much a lot of the time. He only averaged about what not in between 50 to 90 strikeouts per season. I mean, this guy was pretty much the level of consistency. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you this still too. The Cardinals made a big mistake after they won the title back in 2011 of not re-signing Albert Pujols back then. Okay, this guy was perhaps the greatest player in franchise history since Stan Musial, and basically you gave this man pretty much pretty much literally 10 years and $210 million, which is a lot of money, but not the amount of money that he was looking for because the Angels pretty much gave him the same amount of years, but $254 million. So it was pretty much a poor offer on their end. But although he has no envious against the organization per se, but just the way that it ended is just left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. But I was not a huge Cardinals fan, but I really was a fan of Albert Pujols and the ability to make big hits, especially during that 2005 NLCS in Game 5 when he hit that home run against Brad Lidge. That was perhaps one of the greatest clutch home runs that you'll ever see in his career. And without a doubt, without Albert Pujols, commanding first base and making all those necessary hits, the Cardinals would not have won those championships with him at the helm. You know what I'm saying? And so I hope that he can basically play a full season and get to 700 home runs, because if there's one guy that deserves to be in the 700 home run category, is this guy. And as far as Hall of Fame is concerned, this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame, and he should be an undisputed, unanimous Hall of Fame selection. All right, the writers basically effed it up with Ken Griffey Jr. Okay, they didn't do that for Mariano Rivera, and they basically effed it up for Derek Jeter. Okay, this man is an undisputed, unanimous Hall of Famer. Everything that he's done, and the fact that he's never used any drugs and never failed the drug test, he's perhaps one of the most honorable and one of the most controversial free superstars that you could ever find in the history of baseball. So I will definitely watch a little bit more of LA Angels baseball games and probably just be memorized of Albert Pujols as we're going to see him for the last time this upcoming season. Barring injury, we just hope that he can get to 700 career home runs and end his career pretty much on the greatest high note that you could ever ask for. But respect to Albert Pujols, he's had a great career, and he's no doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most feared and one of the greatest right-handed hitters in this generation of Major League Baseball. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I got to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.